What is up,
Hey,
everyone?
what's up,
Welcome
everyone?
to BeatStars Academy. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Jamil, once again joined by Levi Beats. Today we're going to be talking about finding other ways to monetize your brand. How's everybody doing today?
Yeah, I hope everyone's really well. How are you? How are you doing? Hopefully we've got some people over here from Instagram. Fingers crossed.
I'm sorry, I missed that. I was trying to put my headphones in. That was sorry about that. That was
I was just asking how you was. I was just asking how you was and everyone else, of course. I'm seeing some familiar faces in here as well, some new ones as well. Good to see you all as usual. Hopefully some of you have just come over from Instagram. Today we're going to be talking about some other ways to, or finding other ways to monetize your brand, and we're gonna give you some of our ideas, and maybe some of y'all can get involved and share some of the ideas that you're doing to monetize your brand in other ways outside of just selling beats, of course. Yeah, so let's get on with it.
For sure.
Again, hopefully everyone's all well. Rock 5 saying Pink Diamonds in the house. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to plug in my better camera. I thought I had it plugged in, but it's not working for some reason. Here we go.
Oh, the camera looks fine. Looks
okay. Good. Yeah, I wanted my better one. So you guys see me in HD, man. Come on.
Got to see you in HD, definitely, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I'm excited for today's show. That was the first time we kind of started on Instagram Live, so I'm a little bit out of sorts right now. But
we hadn't rehearsed that part, so
we did not rehearse, so we kind of just
we had to kind of go from the phone to the PC or laptop. So it was kind of a test, just to see how it works. But I think it worked well. So definitely. So let's go. What's the first topic that we're going to talk about? Oh, there we go. God, that was weird. It's like a quick flip.
All right, cool. Yeah, I look way better in this camera. Okay, I was going to be able to stare at my own face the entire time if I was looking like that. Okay, cool. So as we said, today we're going to be talking about finding other ways to monetize your brand besides just selling beats. At the foremost, if we're music producers, our goal is to mainly sell beats. That may be one of the only things that we're thinking about, but there's so much more that we could do with our brand once we're established that we think is really crucial to be able to add additional revenue streams, to be able to build fan bases in different areas that we wanted to talk about this. So the first thing that we wanted to talk about as an additional way to monetize your brand was live streaming. Kind of apt because we're doing a live stream right now, but you and I, Lee, we talked the other day about this, where during this kind of quarantine time, live streaming has really taken off as an alternate form of entertainment. It was always kind of around, but I think live streaming has become so big because it offers a different type of personal interaction with an audience that pre-prepared content doesn't offer.
Yes, I agree.
Where you could be doing things that could be a completely pre-prepared and edited video, and you could talk to people in the comment section like on YouTube, but you don't get that live feedback. Kind of like the difference between like live theater and like a movie, right?
Yeah. Also as well, just touching on that from a live streaming aspect, is that it's more personable, right? So like we're talking about branding here, right? So sometimes the brand isn't just always about a logo. It's about the person who is the brand, right? So if you're live streaming, it's enabling you to, really show off your brand, what you're about, the type of person you are. And that can actually really benefit you, pushing your brand out even more, because people then start to relate to you rather than just a logo. There's now a face to the content that you're creating, which I think is super important, especially, in the current times that we're in. And, there's platforms out there like we're going to discuss, like Twitch. Twitch is a huge platform now for for streaming. There's a lot of people doing different types of streaming on Twitch. Beat making, mixing, mastering. You're showing people how to do certain things, and you're teaching people. So there's so many good. I've seen a lot, and it's even something that I thought about personally myself about starting, because I feel I have a good amount of knowledge within music to help others. And you'll be surprised how that can help you to monetize your brand in different ways. And I think that's really cool. I think even me and Jamil have actually spoken about doing something together, on Twitch or something in the future. So because it's the way forward, definitely, for sure, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that being able to live stream, it's kind of like a difficult sort of business to break into. But I think if you have an established brand, from doing something beforehand, like being a music producer, and you have your audience, it's easier than other avenues to. It's a more transferable audience.
Yeah.
If that kind of makes sense. I think a lot of YouTubers have shown that they've started streaming in the last year or so, and the audience moves pretty well from YouTube to Twitch. And I think that kind of goes to the same thing as with like music producers.
Yep.
If you have an audience, if you are like an educator, or if you're somebody who likes making beat tutorial videos, or you're just somebody who likes making live cook-up videos, I think people are really interested in seeing the other side of that, where you're doing it live.
Yeah, definitely, sure.
Because sometimes like those cook-up videos, like they're super cool, but I think everybody who makes music kind of knows that like that wasn't the first take. I'd kind of love to see the outtakes. I'd love to see like the creative process behind it.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of just like, it just shows like, another side of you, and it makes you really personable as a brand, because it's not just your music or your color scheme or your logo that's your brand. As you said earlier, like it's you, like you're part of the brand. And especially if you're an independent creator, an independent business owner in any industry, not just music, you are the biggest representation of your brand. So it really goes a long way to show who you are, show a different side of you. And that'll only make people appreciate you and want to like mess with your work even more.
Definitely, for sure. And I was going to say something to add to that and I lost the train of thought completely. I hate it when that happens. And it was something really good as well. So damn it, I hate that. Oh no, that's what I was going to say. Sorry, it come back to me. Also as well is that, when you're live streaming, a lot of times, when you're, creating these videos, or, to post on YouTube, the pre-recorded stuff, you're not really showing the errors and the mistakes, right? And maybe that's not something that you always want to show, but sometimes people can learn more from that, because they see, and also like Jamil said, it makes you look human and not like this robot that's, really consistently, say you're playing the keys and it takes you 8 times to, get it right. Oh, and an example of that was, and this goes to, even people that have made it huge in the music industry. I was watching Brian Michael Cox. Sorry to drop a name, but I was watching him on Instagram, and he was cooking up a track live, and he had to play the piano about 12 times before he got it right. And this is a guy that's been playing piano for years, so it happens to all of us, and people like to see that, so it's a cool way to not only monetize your brand in a positive way, but also to really show people the process, and also show people that you are human, and I think that's really important.
Right. What else do we want to mention on this? Oh, another thing that we wanted to point out about live streaming is that because of its popularity, a lot of other platforms are really adopting it and working towards like making it a huge feature. So like right now, this stream is being simulcast on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube. So whether you have your biggest audience on YouTube, or you have your biggest audience on Twitter or Facebook, you can easily reach your audience in any way through any of these platforms. It's not just like you have to build an audience from the ground up. That's what we're trying to like imply, that it's really easy to take your existing audience and kind of show them this new thing and this new side of you. And it's a great way if you like, you can wear your own merch, kind of like what Levi's doing right now.
Yeah.
and advertise it that way.
Sorry for the advertising. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity in that. And you know, sometimes I just get lost like looking through like all of the producers live streaming. I like to go in and see what they're doing. I think it's really interesting. There's a lot of people doing it really well right now. BeatStars, we try our best. We have shows every day at 3 p.m. Eastern in different topics in different areas. And, you know, if you have a particular like niche or something that you focus on within music, or, you know, if you're just trying to podcast or do talks or give advice, you know, the possibilities are really endless. There's an audience for everything. People want to see tutorials. People want to see live cookups. People want to see industry advice. People want to hear story times. You know, it's really cool. And I think there's always room to grow there.
Yeah. And also, in my opinion as well, is, you know, most of us producers are spending a lot of time in the studio. So why not just go live, stream live whilst you're making a beat when you normally would be? So it's not like taking you out of your normal time. You're not spending any extra time just live streaming, you know? I mean, you could do if you wanted to, if it really kicked off for you. But if you're just in the studio making beats, why not just stream live whilst you're doing it? You're already there.
If you have an idea that like, you know, you have like a beat you're making that you're not sure of, just live stream it and see what people think live. If it's worth completing it, if it's
feedback.
It's instant feedback, you know? You don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. I think the next thing that we wanted to, the next way that we wanted to recommend or bring up was podcasting. Podcasting has also become huge. It's different than live streaming just because it's a pre-prepared like audio thing.
Yeah.
There's also video podcasting, obviously. But people are super into that right now. It's really blown up over the last year, even though it's always been around, but people love listening to podcasts, and basically podcasts about anything. I think there's kind of like a bit of like a hole in the industry where there aren't really, that I know of at least, that many like really great podcasts about music. So if you're knowledgeable about music and music history, or, you know, music production, like I assume a lot of you guys are, a podcast might be the way to go.
Definitely, for sure. I've seen a few and that I watch because they're video podcasts, but where, you know, they're interviewing another producer or they're interviewing an artist that they've worked with. And I think those are really cool because you can explain like how you got to meet each other, what was the process, which is cool. So you're showing people how you like collaborated with them. You know, there's a lot of things, how it come about. If you was working on a specific track, how did it start? You know, there's a lot of things, and there's a lot of knowledge that you can provide just in talking randomly about stuff like that. And some of us probably don't realize how much knowledge we have about what we're doing. You know, if you're already selling beats on BeatStars, you have a lot of knowledge about what you're doing, the beats you're making. There's a lot of things. There's definitely a lot of advice that you can offer, and sharing that advice is definitely a great way to build an audience. Also, you know, pushing your brand out there a bit more. It's like you become more likable in a strange way, which works really well, I think, as well. Gives off a good persona of who you are. So, and there's loads of different things. I mean, you guys, especially a lot of the guys that are in this chat, you know, every week that we talk to, that come to these live streams, you know, you guys have amazing ideas, you know, that inspire us as well sometimes. So, you know, there's a lot of things that you guys probably could think of about, you know, whether it's streaming live or whether you're doing podcasts, you know, there's a lot of cool ideas out there, and we'd love to see some more from you all, you know.
Right. There's a lot of different like ways to go about creating a podcast.
Yep.
One that I know is very popular is the platform Anchor. You're able to, I think, you know, I had a podcast for a while. It's kind of defunct now. We don't really do it anymore. But you're able to earn revenue through those two.
Yep.
Kind of like the same way that you would earn like through music streams. It's kind of like a similar concept. You can earn that way. So yeah, if you had a really popular podcast, that might be, you know, you could potentially earn a lot of money that way.
Yeah.
And just based off of like your brand and the trust that you've built as a music producer and as an artist through your audience.
Definitely, for sure.
The next one that we wanted to talk about, I wish we had a visual component to this.
Yeah, me too.
Our show next week, we're gonna have like an interesting visual component to it.
Yeah, definitely make sure you tune in next week because it's going to be a cool show.
So the next one we wanted to talk about was video content creation. So that's kind of like the other side of live streaming, where you know you could be a YouTuber, you could be making TikToks and Instagram. One of my favorite things that I've adopted over the last year was, or in the last couple months actually, is when I really started just like mindlessly scrolling through TikTok for hours. They are so consumable. It is honestly very shocking. It's not just like a Gen Z thing. It's not just like for young people. There is millennial TikTok and there is old people TikTok. It's mind-boggling. People are becoming super famous on TikTok and doing it really well.
Yeah.
A couple of people that come to mind that are doing it really well as a music producer would be like Kato. Kato has been doing amazing on TikTok. I know who else has been doing really good on TikTok. TikTok, the producer in the chat right now, been doing really well on TikTok. And you know the biggest thing about it is that like the viral sound and the music and the musical nature of the platform. It's all about creating duets and using different sounds to create mashups with other users. And I can't think of a better way to get your music out there and get collaborators than TikTok right now. It is actually, it's like, it's good for like just really short, like, I don't know, like what was the track that blew up with Kato? I just saw Tyga did a stitch or a duet with one of his like beat videos. I thought that was super cool.
It's super cool, and there's been a lot of producers on there that have done really well just off of a minute video that they've uploaded of a beat that they've made, you know. So you just never know, really don't never know. And BeatStars has obviously got their own Duet channel, which is dope.
Yeah, Duet beats, which you can. I think we still have the opportunity up. Hold on, let me just double check. But yeah, so follow Duet Beats on TikTok to find really good beats to duet with. Whether you're a singer, a rapper, or a producer, it's always good to like be up on those things and check them out. Let me share my screen.
Anyone that's really creative,
right?
Good creative people, definitely for sure. And that, like you say, it is very consuming. You know, you're just sitting there and just scrolling through these things. I see like a lot of repeat of like TV shows where people just put snippets of it. I don't know if you've seen that as well, but
I have seen that. People react to
snippets like videos. Yeah.
So this is the Duet beat submission you can get there by getting to the opportunity section on your BeatStars account, and you could submit your beats to be featured on the channel. I've seen some really cool duets from different artists on that channel. And a lot of the top beats on TikTok are like, beats from BeatStars. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Cloud9 mentioned he's finding a ton of people that are using his beats for their videos, which is cool. I mean, that's what this conversation is about, is monetizing your content through other ways, monetizing your brand through other ways, we should say.
Right.
BeatStars is all over TikTok.
Right. And you know, a really cool thing about like trying to get your music on TikTok, if you've ever wondered how to get your beats on there and your music on there, you can do it through BeatStars distribution. If you
Yep.
have a BeatStars distribution membership, TikTok and Instagram are two of the different platforms that we distribute to. So if you're looking to get your music on there so people can use it as a viral sound, that's
Yep.
that is my preferred way to do it.
Yep. And you can use it yourself as well. Like I've actually uploaded videos, and because I've utilized the BeatStars distribution, I've used my own distribute like releases that I've distributed, and I've used them in my own videos, which is cool. And people see that. The cool thing about TikTok is they can see it's in the bottom right hand corner, in it. You've got like a little vinyl record. You click on it and it tells you what the original music is, and people can select to use that original piece of music there. So that's what's really cool, and how you could the monetization side of it could really escalate if people are seeing that, you know, that music being used a lot. So it's really cool. I think it's a really dope idea.
Yeah, no, I really love what it's doing for the music industry. It's, you know, it's getting a lot of exposure to lesser known songs. It's helping producers beats blow up and be used in creative ways that, you know, kind of weren't possible before. So it's awesome. I think everybody should be distributing their music to TikTok.
Definitely, for sure. I agree.
Okay, the next thing that we had on our list would be teaching and education. I know we have some educators in here. I myself, I make like educational videos about the BeatStars platform on YouTube. And I think that is a really key thing in this, you know, current world of everybody kind of uses YouTube and social media to kind of learn how to do things. You know, most of the producers that I've talked to, when I ask them like, how did you learn how to make beats? And they say on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, so there is a huge market of a lot of different producers who are successful in being educators, even more so than selling their beats. There are people that have huge audiences on YouTube, just making beat making videos, and they make their living that way. So it's kind of
YouTube University.
Yeah, YouTube University. It's different because like once upon a time you kind of had to go to like, you know, an academy or music school to learn these things, but now like all the information is available online. I'm trying to learn right now, and I'm using YouTube.
Yeah, I've actually learned. You know, my skill set's improved as a producer, sheerly just utilizing YouTube, pretty much. You know, that's been my main source of tutorial and education. And obviously, you know, most of those videos I've been watching are either, you know, BeatStars community members, which most of them are. I've watched them. I've learned a lot. So yeah, it's a really cool, definitely cool way. And if it's something that you are really good at, you know, like teaching people, and you have, you know, the skill set to do that, and definitely why not? Like, you know, offer that service to people, and you can monetize your YouTube channels. There's probably some other channels out there where you can use that kind of process, but YouTube is obviously the most popular one. I actually personally look at YouTube as a kind of just a library of knowledge. But it's what's cool about it is if you're someone like me, I'm a visual person, right? I like to see things. I like to see things being done, and that's how I learn better. If someone was to explain something to me, or if I was to read something, personally for me, this is just me, by the way, I find that harder. You know, if I was to read a book on how to do something, I would actually struggle with that. Like for me, I need to see things visually. So if you're really good at that, and the same thing as well, you know, kind of back on the back of that, on the flip side of it, I'm not very good at writing down things to teach people either. So it would make more sense for me to visually do it so I can show people. So,
Right.
you know what I mean? So definitely, I think it's a definitely. I mean, there are a lot of producers that are doing it, but if you have something different to offer, maybe you use, you know, I don't know. I don't actually see, personally, me. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because I'm not searching for it, but as an example, I know there's a lot of FL Studio tutorials out there, right?
Right.
And there's a few people that do Logic, but I've not seen many people that do Ableton, for instance.
Right.
But maybe that's just because I'm not searching for them, not really finding them. But you know, there's definitely a market out there for that kind of stuff, for sure.
Right. I have something to add to that. I wanted to address this very important question first that I saw in the chat. Who do you think is the biggest pop star in the world right now, Selena Gomez or Taylor Swift? The answer is neither. Yo Gabba Gabba would be my pick for biggest pop star. So just wanted to talk about that very quick because it was very crucial that we address that. But yeah, no, there's so many different avenues to go in. Personally, I've done a lot of searches for tutorials for Logic and Ableton, and they're a bit harder to find. A lot of the tutorials on YouTube, they don't really specify, and when they don't specify like what program they're for, you click on it and it's pretty much always FL Studio. But I know, because I know a lot of producers, and I know people are using other they're using other softwares. So you know, if you're an expert in one of those softwares, if you've been using it for years and you're creating hits on it, I think it would be a very good idea to try to get some of that content online and share your experience.
And you know, we're not saying that you know, if you're using FL that you can't do it. I mean, you can. There's no stopping you from doing it, especially if you're making a different style of genre, right? Because it's not just necessarily about the software you're using. It's about your process and maybe the style of music you're creating. Or maybe you're, you know, maybe you play guitar in your beats and you're recording your guitar. Like, you're showing people how to do that with inside FL or any other program that you're using. So, you know, figure out, you know, creative ways to maybe, you know, do your research, watch a lot of the other, you know, the other tutorials that are already out there, and see if you can do something that's different, you know. But obviously, we're talking about branding here, so it needs to kind of relate to your brand in some kind of way. For me, for instance, I guess, and maybe take me as an example. You know, not that I search much, but maybe there's not a lot of people out there doing Logic tutorials on how to make R&B beats in Logic, right? Maybe that's something that I could venture into, or, you know, you could do the same with FL, you know. For you, instance, Jamil, if you was to start making beats, more than likely you would be, you know, probably creating pop or Afrobeat, that kind of vibes, you know, more of a popular style. Maybe you could have done, maybe you could do like how to make pop beats in FL Studio, you know, because maybe that's not been done already.
Right. Something that, you know, I think that's a really good point. Something that I wanted to point out is that the more, like, it sounds weird, but the more specific and segmented you make something, the more widely available it kind of becomes. Yep. I know sometimes people, when they're trying to create content, they kind of want to make it general to appeal to everybody. But what can kind of happen is that you might be appealing to nobody. Yes. Because people don't just because people are not going to just like search into YouTube like how do I make beats in Logic, because like I mean, like, everybody kind of wants one particular thing. So like you may be thinking like, okay, if I make how to make pop beats in Logic, you know, it's going to be less people looking for that, but it doesn't matter so much at first how many eyes are getting on it right when it goes up, as much as how long people are watching it, how engaged they are with it, and how much they're learning and how satisfied they are with the thing that they're watching, because then they'll come back and that'll lead to more people coming and watching.
Exactly.
later.
And if you think about it, we incorporate that into our live shows, right? If we was just to call this live show BeatStars Academy and it wasn't really tailored to a specific subject, you know, would we get a big audience every week? I mean, being that it's BeatStars, we probably would. But if we're talking about a specific subject, you know, that people are interested in, then they're going to come and watch the show because it's something they want to learn, right? So that's a good example of, you know, why it's, and you know, I'm really pleased that you brought it up because it's a very, very valid point. You know, make it specific. You know, again, another example. You know, we've gave a couple. Me making R&B beats in Logic. You know, how to record a guitar in FL Studio, a live guitar in FL Studio. Right? If some of y'all are already doing that, like, hey, like, show people how to do it. You know, and you'll get a big audience from it. Build your audience, and then you'll be able to start monetizing that content on platforms like YouTube and others that are out there. Of course, as we said, YouTube is the most popular one for doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, I see YouTube as a library for knowledge. If there's anything that you want to do, you need to do, even if it's like, I don't know, how to hang a picture up on the wall in your home. Like, if you've never done that before and you don't know how to do it, you could just search YouTube. Someone's made a video of them showing you how to hang up a picture on the wall. You know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I've watched this one specific YouTube video for how to tie a tie like 50 times because I keep doing it and I keep forgetting. So I have to keep watching it over and over again.
that's
and
cool.
there's so many videos for how to tie a tie, but I watched this one and it didn't fail me. It was very clear. So I keep going back to it and I keep watching it over and over again. So even if something's like like, for example, if you were going to, you know, try to post a video, like, you know, doing like a trap beat tutorial, right? You could call it how to make a trap beat, but there's so many different artists within trap and so many people have different ideas of what trap are that the majority of people watching it probably won't be satisfied because it's not exactly what they were thinking. Now, if you make it a little bit more specific and you say how to make a Juice World type beat, is that probably going to be searched less than trap? Maybe, but you're going to be satisfying a particular audience set who are looking for that specific thing, and you satisfied what they were looking for. Like, and I think that's so much more valuable because honestly, at the end of the day, if the goal is to educate and to teach and to help people, it's better to get like one viewer and really help them than to get 100 and not help anybody.
Yeah, that's very true. But it also as well, especially with YouTube, what I've noticed is a lot of it's word by mouth as well. If you see a really cool video based around a specific subject, and you've got a producer friend that you talk to, you know, you'll go and share it with them. Yo, you need to check out this video. Like, I learned a lot from it. And then that person then goes and shares it to someone else that they know. So you might start off with one person, but that one person might have 100 friends that all want to learn how to do that. You know, so, you know, sometimes, like Jamil said, it's not about the amount of audience you have, it's the quality of your audience, if they're going to keep coming back. And if they keep coming back and you keep generating those views and all that stuff, that's how you monetize your content. That's another way to do that. So we're just giving you ideas of how, you know, it's not just always just about, yo, I'm going to go and create a video and put it on YouTube and I'm going to start making money off of it. Like, there's a lot of thought that needs to go behind it. And we're just trying to give you some of those ideas to kind of, you know, kickstart you and maybe get your brains thinking so you can think of ways how you can do it.
Yeah. Exactly. Another thing I wanted to point out about education is that it's not just on YouTube. There's plenty of different platforms and different ways to go about it. That might be even better. It might be more successful for different people. You could sell one-on-one tutoring services or consultations on your BeatStars account through the services section. I know Cloud9 offers certain types of services that are kind of similar to that. Let me just share my screen really quick and show you guys what I'm talking about. Oh, actually, I think it's already shared. Can you change it really quick to that, Lee?
You want me to add it on?
Yeah, because I think it's just sitting there. Okay. Is it okay? It's on. I wasn't sure. So if you go into, why did I put sound kits? In the services section of your account, you can see that there are producers offering custom beat making. and also one-on-one tutoring services. Let me see, private beat making classes, like
That's a
from
good
this
idea. Yeah.
particular person. So if you were worried initially about kind of just like uploading and maybe not getting an instant return, this is a way to get an instant return. If you're an experienced producer and your brand is established, that you know what you're doing and people trust you, you could offer consultations and one-on-one classes. Some people really prefer that than just to watch a video because they get like that extra help, that extra like tailored and catered help. So this is actually a really good idea that I'd like to see a lot more people uploading, because I kind of need a little bit of help. So I might be interested in buying some of these consultations.
I'll tell you something now. Like when I first started, I wouldn't say when I first started, but maybe 2 or 3 years into it, I actually paid for a consultation with one of our BeatStars members, a higher profile member, and they gave me a lot of decent feedback and information. So it does work, and if you have the skill set, like we said, and the bandwidth to do it, why not? It's another way to definitely, and we see a ton of talented people on the platform every day, and you guys and girls definitely need to start monetizing some of that those skill sets that you have. And this is just one way that you can do directly through the BeatStars platform. We've already got that feature available for you. And to me, it just makes sense. I mean, like it's a crazy way, you're giving something back as well, which is dope. Yeah, I think why not? I mean, it's definitely something I will think about for the future, for sure.
Right.
Offering knowledge to people and monetizing it, for sure.
Right. There are also other platforms too that are focused on education specifically, like this one, for example, Skillshare. You can create like really high quality classes too, and put them on Skillshare and make money that way.
Yep.
They're clearly like, you're looking through all these are different classes, and you could see like there are a lot of students in all of these. So that's definitely like another option, like another avenue that you can take to try to like really make money off of your brand. So I would definitely look into all of these things.
There was someone in the chat, Legendary, the poet, mentioned that he sells his consultation on his BeatStars page. And his consultation is to help people organize their business and set it up. That's actually a really cool idea, because if you've come from a business background and you have business accolades and you have experience within business as well, and some people need a bit of guidance in that area. So I mean, that's a really good example of something that's kind of like outside of the usual stuff that you would out of the box kind of thing, or not out of the box, whatever you want to call it. Thinking outside of the box type of, consultation that you can offer, and I think that's really dope. I think that's really cool.
Right. Yeah, me too. I think those are all really good ways.
Yeah.
The next, actually, we want to take a little break right now to see if we could answer any questions, anything that we've talked about so far. Feel free to ask us.
Yeah, definitely. If there's anything about it, doesn't necessarily have to be about what we're talking about today, but if you have any specific questions, definitely feel free to ask.
We can go to the next one while we wait for some
this is very true. Sometimes doing something different from what you doing will give you amazing results. Definitely, for sure.
For sure. Oh, Legendary Depot is also starting to manage a producer, which is another great way to monetize your brand.
Yep. Definitely, for sure.
The next thing that we had on our list to kind of talk about was brand partnerships.
Yes.
Obviously, it's very kind of easy for us to say right here, like get brand partnerships, but it's a little bit more complicated how to go about getting them. I know that Lee had like a story that he wanted to share. So if you wanted to go ahead and take that away. I'll check out the chats if we have any questions coming in.
Yeah, so to explain a bit more about brand partnerships, when you start building an audience and you have these kind of smaller startup businesses that are, you know, looking for influencers and or people that have, you know, a fair sized audience to promote their brand and their, you know, whatever it is that they've created. So the story I have was I was actually reached out by a company, just a small company based in the US recently. They just emailed me. I'm guessing they must have found me through Instagram. They emailed me and says, "Hey, would I be interested in a brand partnership with them? They've got this this product. I won't say what the product is, but they've got this product, and they want me to help them promote it. Basically, they're going to send me the product through for free. You have to obviously do your research on these companies and make sure that they are legitimate. And I did that before I even got involved with them. And also, you don't necessarily want to be parting money. You don't want to be parting anything up front because that may potentially be a scam. So anyone that's kind of, you know, does get those, make sure that you do your research beforehand. But in this case, I did that. They looked legit, and they basically offered me this free product that I basically need to take some creative photos with. So create some creative photos in the studio, or if I'm, you know, whatever the product is, I'm using it in a specific way, taking photos. They don't need to be professional. I send them off, and for that I get a fee. So they pay me to do that. I get the free product as well, which is super dope. And then any of my followers, or anyone that's within my kind of fan base, goes ahead and purchases this product, I will get a percentage, so like a commission, if you like. So that's a really cool way to monetize your brand. So they've obviously seen somehow that I've built this brand, and people are starting to, you know, people know who I am, and they can see that I have this creative style that they obviously liked, and they're gonna now then, you know, hopefully for them, utilize my brand to boost their brand in a way. And it's a really cool way to be doing. It's a collaborative effort, you know, but it's using brand. It's brand collaboration basically, rather than you collaborating with a specific product as such, which is really cool. And again, you know, a great way to monetize your brand, you know. And there's a lot of different brands out there that will, you know, access, you know, and reach out to you. But just definitely make sure you do your research first. Also, you know, you maybe want to make sure that the brand that you're representing fits you, you know, their ethics and stuff like that, you know, fits your kind of brand, because it may potentially, you know, have a negative effect on your branding if the product is not, you know, kind of right, or doesn't sit right with you. But it's definitely a cool way, and I'm actually super excited because it's kind of my first experience with this. So I'm super excited to see how that goes and see where that leads to. And the cool thing about that is if other brands and other product developers, or whoever these people are, see that you are promoting other brands, you know, outside of your own brand, what's to say that they might not reach out to you and then also want to do some kind of brand partnership collaboration with you? So it's really cool. And yeah, I think it's just another dope way to monetize your brand, like what we're talking about today. I don't know if you've had any like specific experiences, Jamil, like anyone reaching out to you saying, "Hey, like, I'm going to send you a free scarf. Like, can you promote it on your Instagram page?" or something like that, you know?
No, I wish. I'm not really. I mean, despite my efforts to become an Instagram model, it hasn't. My page hasn't taken off yet, so I don't have anybody asking me to promote like their teas or whatever. You know, they have. But no, I think that's I think that's a really good point, Lee. Thank you for sharing that story, because when we were doing research before the show, we were talking about blogging, actually, which we're going to mention a little bit later.
Yeah.
And we were doing our research like in how people make money from blogging. And one of like the biggest sources of revenue is like affiliate marketing, right?
Yes.
And when you scroll through TikTok and you see all these get rich quick kind of like things, everybody always says like, do affiliate marketing. So, I mean, people use that as a big source of revenue. And I think it's really relevant to what we're talking about today, because all of these sorts of like pieces of advice and ideas are all stemming from using your established brand and expanding on it.
Yep.
Right. So if you have an established brand with a very clear identity, that other brands sort of see coincides with their own values, then they'll probably reach out. But it's going to be a little hard to do that if your brand doesn't really have any identity. I think one of the reasons why you were a good candidate to reach out to for this particular company was because your brand identity is very clear. You know, you have a lot of videos, you show yourself on Instagram, you have a particular set of music that you're into that you put out there, and everybody kind of knows what Levi Beats is, right? Yeah. So, and I think that brand saw what you were doing, and they saw that it aligned with their own goals and their like customer base and what they're looking to do, and that's what made it an easy choice. Yeah. So my advice for everybody within that would be to sort of take what you said about, you know, doing your research on people that reach out to you. Make sure that their values coincide with yours, so you're not promoting something that you don't necessarily believe in. Yeah. And sort of, you know, and be empathetic and be a good person to work with. Have, you know, be very like polite and sometimes, like, you know, if everything looks good, like take some chances, you know. Yeah. And try it out, because if something goes well, if your first partnership goes well, it'll be more likely to lead to other partnerships with bigger brands that you're probably going to want to work with later. Yeah, and it's a good experience, and again, you know, it's a way to monetize your brand. You know, I wouldn't say I've done anything you know, out of the ordinary. All I've done is just be myself, and I think, you know, that is my brand. It's just me, you know, like it's not necessarily just about the logo and that stuff. So they obviously saw that, and that can work for anyone. You know, if you are a genuine person, if you're very creative, they like your content, they like your ethics and your you know, how you portray yourself as a person. You know, it is definitely a great way. But my only advice to that would be to be yourself. Like, never try to be something outside of your brand just to make things happen. Like, I think it's really important to like stick to who you are as a person, because that is your brand, you know. And if you're trying to fake that, it's going to be very hard to continue that for a long period of time. So, you know, to build your brand in that kind of way, and to have these opportunities come your way, the key is to make sure you are, you know, true to who you are. Definitely, for sure, because that is your brand, as we're saying, and it's really important to do that, in my opinion. It's like BeatStars, you know. BeatStars have this brand of this amazing positive community that we have, and that's always portrayed, you know, through BeatStars, and that's the business ethics, you know. That's who we are. That's the people we work with. So it's really important. Everyone knows that, you know. So that's how you get your brand out there even more as well. It kind of naturally helps just being yourself. It's really important. Right. Well, I think we mentioned the other two things already during the other ones that we were talking about, like blogging, and we can go a little bit more into blogging. Something that I wanted to point out is the BeatStars Pro page blog. I think that's a really good idea to try to, you know, really, if you're a person who likes writing, who has knowledge they want to share, but you're not necessarily like interested in making video content, because video content is very different than written content. I don't think one is necessarily more valuable than the other. It just depends what kind of like personality you have.
Yeah.
Some people are not right for, you know, live streaming or making videos, because in videos you kind of, even if you're being yourself, you also kind of have to elevate your personality even more.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like, I know most of you watching pretty much only know me from these live streams, but I'm not always doing these kind of things when I'm talking to my parents. You know? Like, it's a little bit different. You kind of have to put on a show, right? When you're doing when you're on video and you're trying to entertain and educate people. But something that's a little bit easier to try to put your own personality into it, whether you're an introvert, a quiet person, a more serious, calculated person, blogging may be the way to go. People have different things that people have different styles that they like to read in. And I think, you know, if you're good at teaching, or if you just have an interesting perspective or something good to say, I think blogging is a great avenue to go in to sort of like increase your brand reach.
Yep. And if you have, you know, if your blog posts are doing really well, or you have a lot of traffic coming to your website, whether it's a personal website or your pro page or whatever, you know, there's a lot of companies out there that would be willing to pay, you know, to place their blog, or, you know, it's kind of like ad space, as you call it. They would be willing to pay to put their blog on your website. You know, again, going back to the brand partnership thing, as long as it fits with you ethically and all that other stuff, and it fits with your brand, then yeah, that's great. So yeah, that's obviously talking about monetization. Like, it's not just about sharing blogs. It's like, if your blogs get a good attraction from people start to see that it's like, yo, like, I'd be willing to pay that person to put my blog in there if they're getting that much traffic. You know, if it fits with their kind of, you know, blogs or whatever they're doing as well. So that's really cool. It's probably something that people kind of don't really think about from within the producer community, at least, anyway. But it's definitely,
and having a good blog, another thing about that could be really key, is that it could improve your SEO.
Yes.
If you have a very popular blog, then, and somebody searches, I think I forget who it was exactly, but there was one producer who was like dominating SEO in one particular term, and I think it was due to their blog. So it could be another really great way to get people onto your beat page. So, and to sell more beats that way. So yeah, the blog feature is only for pro page.
Yep. That was a bit delayed, but
it's okay. I think we could take the rest of this time to answer a few more questions.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Let's just scroll through. Does anyone actually have any questions, like talking about what we've spoken about? You know, similar questions like, is blog feature available for pro page? Obviously, that's true, as Jamil just said.
Mm-hmm.
But M7K that mentioned there that he put a blog on his pro page about gain staging. You know, that's kind of a big question in the producer community. Gain staging is a big subject that, you know, not a lot of producers understand. So that's a cool thing. I kind of like the idea of doing that. You know, for me, that would be difficult. As we was talking about, you know, maybe there's two different types of people that are more vocal and people that are maybe more visual, or like, you know, written kind of stuff. I wouldn't feel comfortable writing a blog, in my opinion, personally myself. I think actually, out of me or you, I think you would be the best person for creating a blog.
Me?
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to do maybe we could do like a live blogging competition one day. We'll see who can write a better blog.
Yeah, I think I know I'd win that. It definitely would be. Definitely would be me.
I see this interesting question here. Money aside, would it be better to promote your BeatStars page or tracks and albums? I think it depends. You know, it all depends on what you want to promote. The promotions appear in, I believe, the same places, right?
Yeah. My personal experience with them is they both work. It just really depends on what your end goal is. Like promoting your BeatStars profile is obviously going to be promoting you and your brand, as we're talking about brands. Promoting a track is still promoting your brand in a way, but you're promoting a specific track or album. So it just depends. I mean, if you're looking at it from, you know, kind of a return value, that's kind of hard to put a kind of gauge on that. But I've utilized both, in fact, all three, and they work really well to build engagement. And
Mhm.
I've made sales from them. I've, you know, met new artists through them. So there's, yeah, it's definitely, it's kind of what, like any kind of ad platform, it's kind of, you have to test it because it's going to work differently depending on who you are, what you are, your brand, and all that kind of stuff. So it will all depend. So my best advice would be to try them all and just see what really works for you.
Right. I think a good idea would be if you have a track that you've just released that you really believe in, that you really like, it's one of your favorite tracks you've ever made, and you want to get, a lot more eyes on it, a lot more ears on it, then I would go promote a track. If you have a track that you released that's been doing well organically and you want to see how well it would do if you put some money into it, then I would go ahead and do that. If you kind of have like, a bigger catalog where all your beats kind of perform pretty similarly, and you're just looking to gain more followers on BeatStars to get more, to get more like listeners to all of your tracks, then
Yeah,
maybe go with promoting your profile.
yeah, yeah. I say they both work. You know, all three the albums work as well, so they're all really good.
Right.
There was one question which we could probably answer. Is there a way that we can change the distribution over from another distro to BeatStars distro with ease? Yeah, 100%. All you would need to do is submit takedown requests on your current distributor. I can't even say it properly, distributor. And you would keep the ISRC code, so all of the streams and all of that stays the same. And then you would basically just resubmit through BeatStars with the same, all the same information, and it would go to the same profile, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's really easy if you decided that you wanted to use BeatStars distribution instead, especially if you're already a BeatStars user, because it makes it easy. Everything's all on the same platform. You haven't got all these different platforms all everywhere. And if you're just distributing your beats, they're all on your BeatStars already. So yeah, I think it's easy, definitely, for sure. We make it easy for you. I don't know if you have any additional information on that.
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Cool.
Save your ISRCs, and everything. Those are all really important.
Yeah. Yep. You're welcome, KP Bot. So that's cool. Yeah, hopefully that helps, and we welcome you to BeatStars distribution if you decide to use it. What was you looking at, Jamil? You see something?
I'm just reading through to see if there's anything else that we can answer.
Okay. Can we speak a little bit about next week's show, maybe? Briefly.
We can talk about next week's show. Next week, we're going to be talking about customer service and how really good customer service can increase your beat sales and improve your business. We're going to be talking about some do's and don'ts, and we have a little special quiz at the end that everybody can participate in. If you guys remember, a couple of months ago, we had the BeatStars Academy game show. This is going to be kind of similar, not as many questions as that, but everybody can participate. We're going to have a big group competition and see who is really paying attention and taking notes. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. It's going to be good. But today's session was dope. We had a lot of stuff to talk about branding and how important it is and how you can monetize it in different ways. So that's really cool. So hopefully some of y'all go away and think about some of the things that we mentioned today, and take those on board and maybe implement them into your current business and see what you can do. See if you can make some extra revenue. other ways utilizing your brand. Yeah, I think today was a dope session. Thanks everyone that joined. Also, thanks to everyone that joined us on Instagram for the first time and then switched over to here. It wasn't as seamless as we expected it to be, but you know, Jamil had to quickly change his camera, which was cool. But look, hey, look, it makes us look human. It makes it look like, makes it more fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, these live streams, they're not always they don't always go smoothly as we want, but hey, it's cool. Like, that's what it's about. So yeah, thank you everyone that tuned in. We really appreciate you. A lot of the people return every week, so that's super dope. And we hope you definitely tune into next week because we're super stoked about that one. That's
All right.
me.
Later, y'all.
Everyone.